Hey guys, finally the Paragon drag race video is here. Our first round of drone footage file got corrupted, so we had to go do it again. But we're here now. What we're doing, we had an opportunity to drag race a 2020 Paragon G23 with the new PCM ZZ8 motor against a 2020 Paragon with the XR7 motor. One has 604 horsepower, the other one has 550 horsepower, but the bigger difference, 545 foot-pounds of torque with a 2-to-1 gear reduction and 608 foot-pounds of torque with a 1.48-to-1 gear reduction. Let's go look at the board and I'll do my best engineering explain drag race board. All right, this is where we tried breaking it down earlier and my brain melted out my ear, so I was trying to put something quantitative towards it. So comment below if you have a better read of this. But let's go over the stats. So the first one, the black boat, it's called the ZZ8, which is essentially the new LT4 engine, which is a 6.2 direct injection supercharged engine from GM, 604 horsepower, 608 foot-pounds of torque, but it's mated to a 1.48-to-1 gear reduction. And what does this mean? This means it turns the engine 1.48 RPMs for every revolution of the prop. And speaking of the prop, we're turning an 18-inch prop with a 13.5-inch pitch. And I'm asking Preston to step down here, and we'll just break over to prop 101. First number, diameter. So just breaking down that one, that's an 18. It's an 18, perfect. And a 13.5. Obviously, the diameter is the size of the wheel, the size of the prop, all the way across. The bigger the prop, the bigger the column of water. The bigger column of water, the more thrust you're putting, or the more thrust the engine is producing, thus moving the boat forward. Pitch is the distance traveled. So for one revolution, this is moving forward 13.5 increments. I don't know what that is because there's slip and everything that goes in with props and water, and that's way above my pay grade. But think of this as an increment if all things were static. So 18-inch diameter, 13.5 pitch. Let's go over to the XR7. So it's a 6.2 liter multi-port injected supercharged engine, 550 horsepower, 545 foot-pounds of torque with a 2-to-1 gear reduction. So that means it's 2 engine RPMs for every 1 revolution of the prop. And that's how we're able to get away with the 17-inch prop, but it moves forward 17 increments on the pitch. What does this all mean? Well, that's why we actually drag race, because we can bench drag race all day, but that's why we went out and videoed, and it was a pretty cool opportunity. The black boat is a pre-sold unit, and we're very gracious to that customer for letting us do this with his beautiful boat. And let's go cut to the water and enjoy. Both boats are set to Wake Pro, 23.7 miles per hour with full ballast and NCRS on high. You do get a pretty equal start here. The ZZ8 boat accelerates to about a half a boat length ahead of the XR7 boat, but you'll see that the white boat actually kind of pulls ahead at the very end, and that's kind of deceiving because it over accelerates 23.7, whereas the black boat, the ZZ8 boat, very much slows down at 23 miles per hour and does a small increment to finish off when it finally engages at 23.7. If you rewound to the full-on initial acceleration, you'll see that the ZZ8 boat gets about a half boat length, and that's really the short of it. All right, so what's the takeaway from the drag race? Both boats are extremely equal, really close. I mean, to only put a half a boat length on from a 0 to 23.7 seems like a lot, but it's really not very much. The ZZ8 is going to be a nice addition to the Nautique lineup and is a good replacement to the XR7 LSA engine. With that being said, the boat is set up, both boats are set up for fully ballasted performance. You kind of think of it as, or I think of it as, like a Porsche GT3 is very track focused. It's set up to do one thing. And with the gear reduction that's on the Paragon, the ZZ8 engine, the 148-to-1 and 608 foot-pounds of torque, it is set up to have all the weight in the world put in the boat. It's meant to still perform even when it weighs 5, 6, even 7 tons as you put weight in it. Bonus footage that we have is we took the 1717 prop off of the 2-to-1 gear reduction and we put it on the ZZ8 engine, and I was actually more impressed by that because it dropped RPMs for cruising. The boat cruised nicely. You'll see some footage of that. The boat had a higher top speed, which is really nice. And I think for anybody that's not going to run tons of extra ballast or have loads and loads and loads of people in all the time, or maybe it's going to be maybe at altitude, more of a sea level type application, this could be a good option for the boat and broaden the performance range of the Paragon. All right, here's a fun one. Paragon with the ZZ8, and this has a 1.48-to-1 gear reduction. And we took off the 18-inch by 13.5-inch prop and put on the 1717. And here we go. Keep an eye on the RPMs up there, and obviously the speed. Oh, a little 43 mile per hour action. Alright, so that's really interesting. You know what? We'll just make this a long video. Back to dock, activate, cruise, on. Check this out. This is really cool. Cruising along at 2750, 2800 RPMs. We tested it earlier, and optimal kind of cruising RPM is between 3000 and 3200 on these motors. That's 29 miles per hour. So if you're empty, you can actually make it across the lake in a pretty awesome amount of time at a little bit of breeze in your hair. ZZ8 just needs 600 horsepower and 650 or 608 foot-pounds of torque.
Yeah.
Ah, good deal.
Plus the supercharger.
Yeah. See it.